Hey everyone, welcome to today's session of the Q&A helpline. So every Thursday I have this Q&A helpline where members ask me questions about anything to do with their real estate business, and I try to answer as best I can, and then I record it and I post in the group and post for all our members to see. And also I also take the time to talk on one specific topic. So today's topic I'm gonna talk about how to handle objections when you follow up with your prospect using my call script. So before that, I have a quick question by one of the members, and the question has to do with how do you handle DIYer? So that's the question. How do you handle DIYer? And my short answer is you don't. You don't handle DIY, prospect buyers or sellers. So why is that? So the real estate industry has been changing very rapidly. There's a lot of technology coming up, a lot of platforms have quickly pop up. So you see all the property portals, you see all the property platforms, right, offering DIY services. So the thing is that you can't fight something. You can't fight. This is a long term trend, and by a trend I mean it's not going to be go away. And part of the problem has to do with ourselves as well. We have to take the responsibility. Part of the problem has to do with how fast the real estate industry is changing, right? And why I say that part of the problem has to do with us, because let me be honest, right? As realtors, right, do we really do a great job in differentiating ourselves? That's number one, right? So we most realtors, right, they can't even justify themselves. Why should I hire you compared to any other agent out there, right? So you haven't been, I mean, let's be honest, right, we haven't been answering this question uh, powerfully enough to all the prospects out there, and that's why that's the main reason why they're questioning why should I hire an agent, right? So because to them, right, they don't see the value of hiring an agent, and the problem is that we haven't done a good enough job communicating that value to prospect. So that value is unique selling proposition, your USP, right? Your home sold in X, blah blah blah. So that is the real thing, the real underlying issue that no one is talking about, but I know, I see what it is. I see it for what it is, right? So the thing is that is a value problem. It's a perception problem. So, I mean, then in that case, right, now you already have all the DIY out there. They don't want to hire your services. They don't want to do anything to do with you. They don't want to talk to you, right? And what is the natural reaction of most agents? Most agents, right, they become stressed. They try to pull their hair out. They get worried. They get angry, and they say that I want to do something about all the DIY curse. They call it the DIY curse, and then they post online. They post on group. They could post on Facebook. They post on WhatsApp. They complain. They start bashing all this, and I think that's the wrong thing to do. That's a knee-jerk reaction. It shouldn't be that way, right? So you should go back to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is all these prospects out there who don't want to use a buyer. I mean, who don't want to use a real estate agent to help them buy or sell the house, right? The fact is that we as real estate agents are guilty of not communicating our value to them, right? We haven't been very proactive about our USP. We haven't really owned our USP. So that's the main reason. And the second thing is that CEA, if you look at CEA says that maybe 72% of the people, of the buyers and sellers who engage a realtor, right, they are satisfied. Let me tell you something. If they're satisfied, why do we have a case of DIY? Right? So let me tell you, that is BS. Why? Why is that BS? Because they say that, oh, I'm satisfied with my agent, but what he does with his own action, he stopped using agents, right? So what they say and what they do are totally different things, and you shouldn't be paying attention to what they say. You should be paying attention to what they do, because the only vote that counts is the vote of the customer. And how the customers vote? They vote by buying, they vote by selling, they vote by paying money, right? That's how they do it, right? So that is the most important thing to do. When you deal with DIY buyers, I mean, you focus your time, focus your energy on those buyers who are going to use your services. And trust me, real estate agent is not going out of fashion anytime soon. Realtors jobs will still be there. 100 years from now, people still need to buy and sell a house. The world population is increasing, right? So housing is a basic necessity. Technology is changing, but the fact that buyers need to purchase a house and sellers need to sell their house, it will still be relevant 100 years from now. So a real estate agent who is providing these services will still be making money. will still be being used, right? Only the technology is changing, the platform is changing, how they go, buy and sell. The actual act of buying and selling is still going to be there, right? It's only the platform is changing. So don't worry about that. Just focus on all the prospect who really need your services. Focus on, keep getting power testimonials. Focus on giving them a wow service, right? So that and slowly change the perception. And the most important thing is own your unique selling proposition, own your USP. So that is what I have to say on this topic, how to deal with DIY. Now I'm moving on to today's specific topic that I want to address right now. And that topic is how to handle objections over the phone. So many of my realtors, right, when they get follow up, when they get leads, right, the number one thing is that they don't do follow up fast enough, if they follow up at all. So many of the leads fall through the cracks, right? And when you try to call all those leads after 2 or 3 days, right, what is gonna happen is that they're gonna tell you that, I didn't submit the form, or they're gonna tell you that, oh, I don't remember, or they tell you that, oh, I don't need the service anymore, right? Because that is typical, that is bound to happen because you were not fast enough in following up. So that is the one of the main issues that my agents face, right? Another issue my agents face is that, they when they answer the phone, right? So the thing is that the prospect doesn't remember, or he says that, oh, I don't remember, I don't recall submitting the form online, I don't recall, asking you for a list of houses, right? So they deny, but the fact is that you have the details, you have their mobile number, right? And they already answer the phone when you call them, so that's a real number, right? But why are they saying that, they didn't ask for it? Why are they saying that, they don't want to talk to you anymore, right? So the thing is that speed is the number one thing, and that's why I always keep saying, I always say follow up is everything. How fast you follow up will make or break your business, right? And you don't want to keep dealing with all the leads that keep following up to the cracks, because that one is wasted money. Very simple, all that is wasted money. So when you call, I assume that you are gonna call immediately. That means as soon as possible. I get the lead right now, I go and pick up the phone, I call right now, right? So how do you handle these kind of objections, right? uh, what I can tell you, right, don't ever give them the opportunity to even come up with this objection. How? Call them as soon as possible. When you call them as soon as possible, they don't have the reason anymore. They will still remember, you're still fresh in their mind. They will remember, yeah, okay, I asked for this of homes, undervalued property or whatever, right? And then they will say, yeah, okay, you are fast enough to call them up before they go and talk to another agent, before they make a relationship with another agent, and before they go and talk to the uncle or auntie who is a realtor, right? So your job very simple: follow up fast enough before that you even hear the objection that I didn't submit the form. So that is the biggest solution to that. And the second thing is, what about the typical objection that you hear over the phone? Okay, stuff like, why should I give you a list? Why should I give you my requirements over the phone? So that is the typical objection that I hear over the phone, right? So what I can tell you, I am going to give you 5 simple criteria, 5 simple, guidelines that you should follow to do a better job of following up over the phone. If you are the one who's doing it, if you have someone else, if you have a team member doing it, my advice to you is do it yourself first. Master follow up first before you teach it to your guy, right? So the first thing is, you know, uh, first rule of following up on this, when you call all of your leads, right? You should stand up, right? When you stand up, you have better energy. You are more alert. You can think on your feet, and you project confidence. You're able to project power. You're able to project, quick thinking over to the prospect. So that is important. You just stand up. So the act of standing up, right, you will do a better job answering their objection, and you'll be more active rather than laid back, rather than reactive. So you need to be very very active, right? So this brings me to my second point. When you're standing up, right, you need to be listening. You need to be listening. You need to be paying attention. You need to be actively listening. So when I say actively listening, very few people do that. Very few people are actively listening, right? What they're doing instead is that most of the time they're guessing what should I reply with, right? When you have a conversation with someone, right? When you're not paying attention to what the other party is saying, most of the people, I can tell you, like 70%, 80% of the people, I'm not talking about realtors, I'm talking about everyone, even me sometimes, right? What we do end up doing is that we think of an answer, we keep thinking of an answer, how to counter back. And to me, honestly, that's the wrong approach. You shouldn't be doing that, right? Your job over the phone, what's your job when you call the prospect? What's your job when you call the lead, right? Is to qualify them so that by the time you invest your resources, by the time you invest your time in, in that particular prospect, it is justified. You are able to see an appointment, you're able to see a closing. That's what you want to maximize, right? That's what you're trying to do over the phone, right? When you follow up with them, right? So the thing is that you need to actively listen, you need to read between the lines, right? So when they say something, you need to understand why are they saying that, where are they coming from. So that is what I mean by, actively listening. And how you actively listen, very simple. You ask questions, right? So when they say, oh, I'm just looking. So when you say it, when they say just looking, right? You can't just think of a quick answer to counter that. You have to ask them when they say that they're just looking. What do you mean by that? Are you just getting started, or you already have an agent, or whatever, right? So when you ask a intelligent question, they're able to give you an answer. You will know, oh, whether the prospect already has another agent or not, whether it's justified for you to follow up with them or not, right? So that is why you need to be actively listening all the time, right? And then the third thing is tone, very important, because you haven't seen them, you haven't meet them in person, right? How you say it, what you say is using your mouth, your tone is very, very important, right? So when you say something over the phone, it's very, very important to be gentle, to use a soothing, calm, nice tone. Of course, you want to be confident, right? But being aggressive and being confident are two different things, right? So let's say I call one of my leads, right? And my lead say, oh, I'll think about it. Then I say, hey, what you gonna think about it? So you heard how my tone is so aggressive. So when you sound so aggressive, right, prospect will automatically resist you, and they will resist you. They will try to find excuses. They won't trust you, and they will try to get out of that phone call because they are already very, very uncomfortable, right? So tone is very, very important when you follow up. How you follow up when you ask the question. You ask the question. You try to listen to what they are saying by asking question, and then you use a nice gentle tone. So let's say they say that I'm not free tonight, right? So then you reply back with a gentle, nice tone. Yeah, when will be a good time for you to catch up, right? So you notice my tone is very, very gentle, very soothing, very smooth, right? So that is what I mean by tone. And then the fourth thing I need to emphasize is follow my universal callback script, right? I've come across some telemarketer who never follow my callback script, and then because they say, oh, I got my own system. I've been telemarketing for the past 10 years. I know what to say over the phone. I know what I want, right? That's BS. Okay, you shouldn't be giving them this as you shouldn't be listening to that excuse, right? That's just an excuse to be lazy, right? You need to have a system. You have a systematic way of getting lead. You also have a systematic way of follow up. So the number one objective for my call script is two things. Very simple. My call script is very simple, right? You don't have to be a robot to follow it. You don't have to follow it like a robot, but it's a guideline. Follow it like a guideline, right? So very, very simple requirements when you're calling a prospect. Very simple reason, and there are only two reasons to call them: to get their motivation and to understand their timing. That's it. That's all. That's the only job of the callback script, to understand their motivation, to understand their timing. How motivated are they to, buy or sell their house? What's the main reason? Why are they selling? Why do you want to buy? You know. And the second thing is timing. How soon? How fast? How close to as now as possible, right? If the timing is off, timing is so far away, maybe like next year, 2 years later, you don't want to waste your time to keep following up with them, right? You don't want to invest your money and resources into a prospect which is only going to close 2 years later. You want to automate that process as much as possible, right? but you are calling them up because it's your right. You already paid money, right? It's your right. And then your logical reason, logical, it's not an excuse, but it's a real reason. It's so that you can customize the list according to their requirements, right? And then you're asking for all the information so that you can give them what they want, right? Before that home is already sold out, before that list is already outdated. So that's the reason. That's why you should be calling. So you call confidently. It's your right. You shouldn't be calling. Oh, I'm not sure. Should I call this or not? Oh, I don't have a good enough reason to call them. What should I say? What's my excuse for calling them up? No, stop saying that. Your reason is very strong. You paid money. Number one. Number two, they're expecting your call, right? That's why they answer. And then number three is that you give them a reason to call. The reason for them, for you to call them, it's very, very simple. You want to take down their requirement, right? And you ask them, hey, I'm happy to send you my list of homes right away, but because I have many buyers and sellers to serve also, I need to optimize my time, right? And then I need to ask you a few questions to get the requirements right. But if you get the requirements wrong, what's going to happen is that they're going to miss the opportunity. You are going to make mistake and they're going to miss the opportunities, right? So you don't want that to happen, right? And you need to let them know that they also don't want that to happen, right? Maybe because in the past you have buyers who miss out on certain opportunities because that opportunity is no longer there, and because you didn't or they didn't tell you their requirements correctly over the phone in the first place. So that's the biggest reason that you can offer them. All right. And then the number four thing, yeah, basically, very simple. Here that my just now I'm just summarizing my five criteria, my five goals, right, to handle objections over the phone. The first one is I said you have to stand up. Number two, you have to listen, very, very attentively, actively listening to them. Number three is that you have to use a very gentle, nice tone, nice soothing voice, soothing tone. You get to keep practice until you get it perfect, right? Until you get it permanent, right? And then you got to make sure you always use the callback script. And then the fifth guideline is only two things you need to do over the phone, right? Timing, motivation. If the motivation is off, cut off the call, place them on follow up. If their motivation is off, same thing, place them on follow up. As long as you capture both their motivation is correct, both the timing is correct, then the next logical step is for them to get to meet you, right? Okay, so that's all for today's. And every Thursday I have my Q&A helpline. I will hopefully see you next week. If you have any questions, just shoot me those questions, and I'll be very happy to answer those questions for you. Bye bye.